Hi, so this is an off-the-cuff video on the shitstorm that has just hit regarding the order halls in Legion. And of course, the way the news has come out this weekend, it's been in this latest build. We've had a mission that we can put on that's not much of a placeholder, although I did only get about, 10 copper or something from it. And there's been this huge backlash on YouTube and on forums and all the rest of it because it's just like the missions in garrisons in Warlords of Draenor. Now, I'm basically going to piss everyone off in this because I'm going to say everyone's an asshat, or in so many terms. On the one hand, as I said this many months ago, as soon as Legion was announced. Blizzard have this huge problem at the moment that Warlords of Draenor people universally dislike. And you can see this on forums, and it's sort of understandable, I think it's a bit extreme, that anything at all that is in Legion that was introduced in Warlords of Draenor will be seen as a negative. And what I said many months ago, and people may remember if they've followed my channel since then, is there are going to be those features in. And the reason is simply this. It's some people are accusing Blizzard of being lazy. I think there might be a certain element of that, but I don't know. Maybe they're just rushed. But the main problem has always been that Legion has been developed in parallel with Warlords of Draenor. So when they were developing, and they actually, just remember this, they actually had a choice of which one. It wasn't always going to be Warlords of Draenor first and then Legion first. The reason they brought out Warlords of Draenor before Legion, because they could have gone either way, they were developing them at the same time, was simply because they thought Warlords of Draenor would time with the film better, which is probably true. And the film was supposed to have been released last year, and then it was sort of put back. So a lot of the features that they developed for what ended up being Warlords of Draenor were features that they thought would be really good, and so why wouldn't they also put them into whatever expansion came after it, Legion in this case? So some features were always going to go in, and all Blizzard could really do, and I'm not defending them on this, because it's not a good idea to develop expansions in parallel because of this exact problem. Because if you get something wrong, and you've put a lot of developmental time in it, you're screwed, not just for the expansion that everyone's pissed off about, but for the following one as well. But nonetheless, the situation they found themselves in is a lot of things are very unpopular. All they can really do is try to remove what they can, and put in what features they can. So what I said before is what people have to ask themselves is, what is it about garrisons that they don't like? Now, usually the main argument you hear about what people didn't like about garrisons was, one, the compulsion to always be in the garrison. Even when you were leveling, what happened was, in Warlords of Draenor, of course, you got followers. You got followers quite regularly, and you got missions. Some of these missions only lasted half an hour or an hour, so you're on a quest and you're being told they've finished. Okay, you don't have to go back straight away. But you sort of know if there's another mission waiting for you, that you want to get them on that as well. You want to level these followers up, the same as you want to level yourself up. Now, if that aspect of it is something you didn't like, there's no suggestion that that is going to be the case in Legion, because the whole point of these Order Hall missions, yes, they look passive. It doesn't look like you're going out into the world with these champions. Although you can have champions accompany you out in the world, by the way. There is sort of a bodyguard system. But nonetheless, the actual missions, these Order Hall missions, some of them are for you to do. Some of them are just like the click on a mission table thing. Now, it's supposed to be the case that you're not going to get very many of these. I mean, if you think about it, when shipyards came in, they sort of learned a little bit. Of course, people instantly were turned off, so no one was going to give shipyards a chance. And I'm not going to blame people for that. But with shipyards, you don't go on every half an hour, do you? There's some very few missions that are very short, but you go on every day, if that. And the same is supposed to be true of the Order Hall missions, that it's like each day something pops up, and you don't even have to do it that day. Let's say you want to leave it for a few days, and they'll have sort of queued up and you can do them all at once, or just not, whatever. So that is still supposed to be the case. So if it was the case that you didn't want to be, you didn't like garrisons because you're stuck in them all the time, that won't be the case, and actually we should be okay. If the reason, however, you didn't like it was just because you didn't like the dragging followers onto a mission, and also remember we're not going to have a huge number of them, these followers, then that is going to be in. And there are other features that are going to be in Legion as well that were introduced in Warlords of Draenor. And as I say, people... I mean, Blizzard could just be screwed on this because people could then have a negative view of Legion, because as soon as some people might give it another chance, go, Legion, I'm going to give Legion's the last chance for me, and they get into Legion. Maybe they're avoiding all the news about it because they want the experience to be fresh for themselves. Fair enough. And they get into Legion, and immediately they see this mission table, which they will. They will see this mission thing immediately. Well, I say immediately. You've got a couple of things. First of all, there's the scenario, which we haven't tested yet in Alpha. We've got the... you've got to go and get your artifact and then establish the order hall. But then basically the mission, it's there. It's there for you. Because you get your first follower straight away. Now, if that immediately turns people off, then Blizzard are just buggered. There's nothing they can do about it. Because, like I said, there's no point, there's not enough time. It's not just that there's not enough time now. Obviously, there's not enough time now. There's only a few more months left to go. But I don't think there was even time when it became apparent that people were really, really turned off on Warlords of Draenor. And it could well be, and what a lot of people have thought is, the reason why they basically gave up on Warlords of Draenor, because Warlords of Draenor, what did we get? We got the selfie patch, a lot of people called it. Wasn't as bad for me because as a raider, we sort of got Black Rock Foundry around about the same time, so that was new for me. And then 6.2, we got Hellfire Citadel, but again, for people who don't do that raiding, what do you get? Well, Tanan Jungle and more Apexis Dailies, hooray. So... And we haven't really had anything. They've done the Mythic Dungeons, that's not new content. They've done the Time Walking, that's not new content. It's nice enough, but it's not new. And the hope has been that Blizzard have basically jumped ship from Warlords of Draenor. Basically cut it off at the arm and have just been launching themselves into Legion. But even then, there's only so much they can do. And I'm not defending Blizzard, because as I said at the beginning, you shouldn't develop expansions in parallel just because of this reason, just simply because of this reason. Because if you do something that you think is going to be brilliant and people are really going to love, and they don't, you're fucked. And that's exactly what's happened here. So what I would say on both sides of it is, on the one hand, do think very carefully about what it is you didn't like. And everyone has something they didn't like about Warlords of Draenor. Everyone, because it wasn't a good expansion. But think about what that was, and then think to yourself, is that really the case in Legion? Because the chances are it probably isn't, because the worst complaints have been removed as far as we can tell. But the other side of it is, we just have to think, I was looking at the forums and people are going, what's it going to be like? And there's a lot of people saying, oh, we're in Alpha now and don't worry about Endgame, it's going to be brilliant, all the problems with WoD have gone away. I know, because I'm in Alpha. And there's so many people saying this, and I'm thinking to myself, we haven't got Endgame in Alpha. We can't even level to 110. There's a little bit of testing of like Mythic Dungeons and the odd raid test. But there isn't actually testing of level cap content because we are not level cap. So we can only go by what Blizzard are saying. And some of what they say does not always transpire exactly as we imagine they meant, or as they may even have meant. You can see here me just doing one of those missions that's appeared this week. And you can see there's not a load of missions. Of course, we don't know exactly how it's going to be in there. But the whole point is supposed to be that there's not going to be a right load of missions. There's not going to be a load of followers. I've certainly not been picking up followers. And the order hall is just somewhere to go to get this, do this thing once a day, takes no time. And then to upgrade your artifact when you need to do that. And that's basically it. There is nothing else there apart from a training dummy. That's it. So bear that in mind. If whatever you're watching elsewhere and reading elsewhere, keep it in perspective. Yes, Blizzard have fucked up, but it is limited what they can do. And just think to yourself, are the features that were in Warlords of Draenor that are now going to be in Legion really things that you don't like? Because it may not be. But anyway, if you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And until next time, I'll see you later.